everyone. I'm Amanda from Destination Scenic Rim. And as in the lead up to the Scenic Rim Wedding Expo on Sunday, the 6th of April this year, we're thrilled to spotlight a few of our amazing Scenic Rim venues and vendors that you're going to have the opportunity to meet at the expo. And today I'm joined by Sacha from Ceremonies by Sacha. So without further ado, Sacha, welcome.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here.
So, look, to get us started, why don't we start with you kind of introducing yourself, your business, what is it you do? Tell us everything about yourself.
Well, firstly, I am a celebrant, so civil celebrant. I do marriages as well as funerals and other ceremonies of that type. My pronouns, she, her. I am, amongst other things, a mum, a wife, and a fur parent to a dog and two cats. So life's busy in the Clark household. My background, which is probably more of interest to couples looking to get married, is actually in marketing. So for 20 odd years, I worked in FTSE 500 organisations, both here in Australia and also in the UK. We've been back on Australian soil for 3 years now, after 16 years in the UK.
Wow.
And it was there that, yeah, it's funny how life works out. You know, I had 20 years in the corporate world and turned around, I think it was about 2018, and decided not for me anymore. I want to do something that's creative, in service of others, and fulfilling, and lent into my calm personality as well as my tendency to organize, be process orientated, and also problem solve. It's one of those things that I realized stepping away from corporate. I enjoy those things. So celebrancy kind of popped into my head one day. It's what I call my COVID epiphany. It literally popped into my head one day while I was walking in the freezing cold in Rickmansworth, where we lived in the UK. And I went home, booked my course, qualified in the UK, practiced for a couple months before we came back out here, and then requalified for Australia. And here I am 3 years down the line.
Amazing. I love it. And are you enjoying summer in Queensland after being in the UK for so long? Or is it a bit warm for you?
It's a bit warm, hey. I mean, the humidity, yeah, we'd forgotten how hot and humid it gets. Yeah.
Yeah,
But the
100%. I
sunshine,
hear you.
gosh, you can't beat
I
the
hear you.
sunshine and the blue skies.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Like we like the sunshine, but then yes, sometimes the humidity, especially in January, February, can be a little bit much. And yeah, it's actually a little bit quiet for weddings in Queensland around this time of year. I think we all know that, and that's probably why. But so you've had a really interesting career. So you qualified in the UK and then came back to Australia. Amazing. So what are you enjoying this? How different is it? Like, are you enjoying it in Australia compared to the UK, or what's the difference?
I love it. I mean, I loved it in both countries, but it's very different in the UK because a celebrant doesn't do any of the legal stuff. So in the
Right.
UK, a celebrant is doing what's known as the wedding, is the fun stuff. Whereas in Australia, I beg your pardon, we can, and we are registrars, so we get to do the legal process and legitimately marry people, as well as combine that with the fun stuff of the wedding. So the love story and the personalization elements that go along with ceremony. And it's funny, it is very different in both countries. So, for example, in the UK, people tend to prefer to have a little bit more ceremony within the wedding itself. So things like Celtic ceremonies, hand fastings, tree plantings, unity ceremonies, things like that are a lot more popular, probably because you don't have the weight and the heft and the I suppose the tradition of the formal marriage happening within the ceremony. Whereas in
Mm,
Australia, we have that. So on top of I suppose more of a tendency towards a focus on the individuals, and the love story tends to be where Australian couples focus and prefer to have their ceremony story, I suppose, come across.
That's really interesting, isn't it? That it's so different country to country, and
Mm,
and I think what you bring with that background, though, in the ability to introduce rituals or other elements to a ceremony is wonderful for couples. At least they know you're experienced in that stuff, so that's wonderful. So tell me, what do you believe couples should consider when they're choosing their celebrant? So we've got couples that are going to be coming to this wedding expo. Where do you start?
it's that's a where do you start is a really good question, and it tends to be, especially at this time of year, the focus of a lot of social media posts. So you focus on the big threes. Make sure that you've got someone to get married that feels comfortable and feels like you as a couple. Two, book your celebrant, because we get very busy very quickly, and also three, book your photographer, because again, they get really busy really quickly. But in
Mm,
terms of the choice, because there is a lot of us, there's a lot of celebrants, we are all very, very different. uh,
mm,
what I would say is, when you're planning your wedding and thinking about the ceremony itself, have a think about how you want it to feel. So, is it
mm,
something that you want to be big and loud and gregarious, or is it something that you want to be more intimate and personalized and calm? Because with those kinds of considerations of how you want that moment to feel, bearing in mind it's probably roughly about 20 to 25 minutes of the total day, but it's what the entire day is about, right? So it's
100%.
really
Yes.
important. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's that, how do you want it to feel and go? Because then that will
Mm,
direct you in terms of the kind of personality that you would, I suppose, gravitate towards to do that
mm.
ceremony. Make sure that that moment feels like that and is structured to feel like that for
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true. The celebrant really will set, like your celebrant will set the tone for your entire day, right? So as you
you.
said,
Yeah.
if you're really clear on how you want it to feel and how you want your guests to feel while they're watching you, you know, this isn't a major milestone in someone's life. So where they're watching you
Yeah.
actually get legally married, how do you want them to feel? And then find someone who you really vibe with in that way. So I love, you mentioned right at the beginning that you bring a calm, that you have a very calming nature. And I know, having seen you do some ceremonies before, that you do bring that. You are very calm, you're very organized. And I think that really, especially if you've got a nervous bride, must be something that they absolutely love about working with you. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of the things that most commonly, in terms of if I was to word cloud from my recommendations and testimonials,
Yeah.
calm and what else comes through? Organized and professional comes through, but I kind of take that as organized and getting stuff done. The
Yeah.
calm is a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Amazing. And so, can you share one of your favorite weddings that you've done in Australia to date? Tell us about that.
Mm. Oh wow. I've had a couple actually, and they're my favorites for different reasons. So, I had one towards the end of last year where the bride booked me more than 18 months out. Like, she was adamant she wanted me, um, bless her, which was incredible. And their whole focus in terms of the day and the experience was very clear, and they had selected their vendors very, very carefully, and they chose me because I come across in terms of very level, very calm, quite nurturing when I need to be.
Mm.
But also, I do like a creative script and ceremony. So they had seen I'd done a Harry Potter ceremony, and
I
they
love
very
it.
much wanted, yeah, and that one was fun. But this one was even better because they wanted Disney. And it wasn't themed in such a way, but the entire ceremony I built around Disney, and it was so much fun and just such a wonderful moment. That was one of my highlights. One of my other ones, which it's funny, I was thinking about this before. I suppose people might think of it as a low light, but it actually made me realize why some of my couples really choose me. And I had one couple, and they were both neurodivergent, incredible people. She was a scientist, and he was in aerospace, just amazing,
Highly
and
intelligent people.
highly intelligent, and they were very much about, we just want to get married, but the family wanted the wedding. And she got herself in such a pickle just before she came down the aisle, bless her. And going through that ceremony and getting her through that ceremony made me realize, in terms of, why people choose me, it was
Mm,
that calm and the patience, particularly with either anxious, nervous, or neurodivergent.
mm,
Because I've had quite a few families where they've been concerned about kids with Asperger's and autism and what have you, and including them in the ceremony, because some celebrants won't.
yeah, right.
And it's something I'd never considered, because I'm very much about everyone should be able to enjoy that moment in time. And for me, I realized in that moment, I create a genuinely safe space for my
Mm,
couples, and I genuinely keep the atmosphere calm and relaxed and very much focused on them. So those two have been my highlights most recently. And I mean, they're all completely different. And as you
yeah.
know, yeah, and there are certain things that you always take from a ceremony, and each one will have different highlights for different reasons.
Yeah, no, that's that what beautiful memories when you start thinking about the ceremonies you've done and how different they are. And what I love from those two stories is really couples can do whatever they like, can't they? Like it really
Hmm.
is their day. And certainly there's some legal stuff that has to be said, but at the end of the day, you're married, and if you've done it in the way you want, like what a beautiful way to start your wedding celebration. So yeah, I love those
Absolutely.
stories. I just love them. The other thing that I really picked up then, it sounds like you are really adept at holding space for your couples. Do you think that's a really important piece of being a celebrant?
It is, but I'll admit not everyone does it,
Mm,
and also not everyone needs it
okay.
as well.
Yeah.
But very much about, for me, in terms of the process of ceremony, is very much about holding that space for those two people for that
Mm,
moment in time. Um, and it's one of those things, going back maybe to the earlier question, in terms of, when people are looking for their celebrant, what should they be looking for? It's considering whether or not that is something that you feel as a couple that you might need. Because,
mm,
for example, if you've got a very gregarious, outgoing celebrant who does the comedy routine and the microphone blaring and all that stuff, you know, they're not going to necessarily be holding that space in terms of that calm atmosphere that a couple who don't want to be a center of attention might be looking for. So it's probably another one of those things to really consider, in terms of, what do you want that moment to feel like, and what do you think that you might.
mm. Yeah, I love that, Sasha. That's wonderful. So like me, I know that you love this region. You love the Scenic Rim. So do you have any favorite spots in the Scenic Rim for those looking at options? We're going to have a lot of venues there, a lot of options at the expo, but what are your favorites?
Oh my goodness.
Where do
And
you
this was a
start?
hard
Where do
one.
you start?
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what? That's one of the beauties of the area is, exactly where do you start? Because there are incredible spaces. There's the natural spaces. So
Mm,
if you want rural, or you want rainforest or forest, it's got that.
mm,
If you're wanting more formal settings, I know the other panelists for the expo, we have that in spades. You've also got wineries and these
Yes.
incredible food and beverage destinations that have incredible settings. And then for those who are wanting to DIY, oh my goodness, the spaces in terms of community halls and little chapels and things like that in the area are amazing. So, you know, gun to my head, if I had to choose, um, one of the spaces I really love for do-it-yourself weddings is Perga Hall. It's absolutely stunning and has one of the most beautiful little original chapels from the area. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it's just gorgeous, and it is very intimate. They can only sit about 80, I think, in the chapel at a
Nice.
push.
Mm,
Um, but stunning, absolutely stunning. And then for your more, I suppose, varied settings, I love the wineries. Absolutely
mm.
love the wineries. And the other panelists are like Shambhala Estate. Oh my gosh, that space is just magical. And Cedar Creek Estate for one of the wineries, and Canungra Winery, both amazing places. So, yeah, I'm biased though, as you know. I love the
It's
area.
hard to choose. It is so hard to choose, and I think that's we're so looking forward to showcasing the best of the region at this expo. So yeah, I think anywhere in the Scenic Rim that you get married, you cannot go wrong, really.
Absolutely. And oh my gosh, the choices for food and wine
Yeah.
within a close distance is incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And look, and one of the things we're inviting our couples to do when they come to our expo on the 6th of April is actually take the day and explore the mountain, because we do have, oh goodness, Witches Falls Winery, Boxer Brewing, which are kind of sister little companies right on that Witches Falls area. We've got Cauldron Distillery, there's Tambourine Mountain Distillery. There's so many options just to spend the day. And then don't even get me started on the French bakery and gallery walk and all of the options there.
Yep.
So yeah, and look, and next door to the Vonda Youngman Centre where we're going to be is the amazing Picnic, which Picnic coffee shop
Oh, that's
is
gorgeous. Yeah.
incredible, and the food. Whew. So yeah,
Oh,
you
the
can't go
food's
wrong, as you
amazing.
said. Food and beverage on the mountain, we're
Yeah.
ready.
And it's probably worth saying as well, you know, for those um, for food and beverage where you might have dietaries as well. So I'm celiac, my family,
Mm,
a couple of us celiac, and the area is incredible in terms of the choice and the range available to us as well. Like I love Picnic. That's our
mm,
little family go-to when we're on the mountain. But the other thing to mention is, you know, the gardens, like the botanical gardens up
mm.
in Mount Tambourine is gorgeous. And it's come back from, what was it, 2023 when we had the tornado go through.
Yep.
And it's back and open and so worth a visit. Yeah, spend the day, enjoy the area. You won't
100%.
go wrong.
And look, and I think we're going to be the one-stop shop. So you come along, you'll be able to book all of your major vendors in the one place, and it'll make it really easy for wedding planning. So, but look, Sacha, to finish off, why choose Ceremonies by Sacha? Let's wrap this up. What is it that makes you truly unique? I know we've kind of covered this, but let's recap on the reasons why your couples choose you as their celebrant.
Oh, this is always a really awkward question.
I know it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Talk about
it's
yourself. Come on. Why do they choose
exactly.
you?
Talking about yourself is never comfortable. Genuinely, it's if you're wanting to have that moment in time with your other half, to feel safe, to feel like the two of you, and to be calm and relaxed so that it's a moment that you can easily and happily reflect back on. That's the kind of space that I create for my couples. So, as I said earlier, I'm very much about that calm moment that is very much focused on you as a couple. And I
Mm,
make my couples the priority of the moment. So that's very much why my style is as it is. Um, Gentle humor, if you want it, I can do it. But very much my focus is making that moment what you need it to be, and also making sure that you're comfortable in that moment. The other thing, I suppose, is I welcome and adore working with anyone and everyone. I proudly identify as LGBTQ plus ally. I proudly identify as neurodivergent inclusive. So if any couples or families are nervous about speaking to vendors because of those kinds of discrimination and prejudice that still sadly exists, unfortunately still exists in the wedding industry as well, know that you're safe with me.
I love that. Truly inclusive. You're such a special celebrant, and I'm so excited for our couples to get to meet you. So, how do couples inquire with you? What's the best thing? I know you're on all the socials and things. Should they DM you? Should they just come to the
They can absolutely slide into my DMs. I don't mind that. And also my website. I've got a contact form, and also know that I'll get back to you within an hour or so. So email, phone, my phone number's on my website as well, or social media, whatever is the most comfortable form of communication for you. I'm up for it.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Sacha. I've loved our chat. And for everyone watching, please jump online. You'll find Sacha, as she mentioned, her website is ceremoniesbysacha.com. Sacha is with a C, not an S, just when you're typing that in. If you do a search, it pops right up. So it's all good. And and also you can follow her on Instagram and Facebook. And just a reminder that you will find Sacha at the Scenic Rim Wedding Expo on Sunday, the 6th of April, 2025. We're going to be on Tambourine Mountain at the Vonda Youngman Centre, which is North Tambourine. Tickets are free, but we do encourage you to pre-register so that you can go into the draw, because we've got some amazing prizes to give away on the day as well. And we are going to have a panel interview. Sacha will be part of that panel interview on the day. So stick around, because we're going to have wedding vendors and venues sharing their inside tips for your wedding planning, and you don't want to miss that. So look, for tickets, head to Scenic Rim Wedding Expo on our socials or our Destination Scenic Rim website. And Sacha, it's been such a pleasure. I can't wait to see you at the expo.
Oh, I can't wait for it, and make a day of it. It's worth it.
100%. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.